I know it's time for the No Half Step in Hockey coverage, so let me deliver the goods. Time for operation number 745. That's right. Time for show number 745. And at this moment in hockey history, the Nashville Predators have been eliminated from playoff contention. But the regular season continues on, and it is business as usual here in the bunker. The Nashville Predators currently find themselves in 5th place in the Central Division with a little E to the left of their name. After 81 games skated, they have one more game remaining on the schedule. They have a record of 42, 31, and 8, 92 points on home ice, which is where the Nashville Predators' final game of the regular season will take place. They have a record of 22, 14, and 4. The Preds have scored 226 goals on the season. They've given up 234 goals. That's a goal differential of -8. Now, the Nashville Predators' next opponent is the Colorado Avalanche, and the Colorado Avalanche are currently fighting it out with one game to go in the season for the number one spot in the Central Division. That's right. This next game could be a spoiler game by the Nashville Predators on the Colorado Avalanche's designs of winning the Central Division. Let me update you on the division, then we'll talk individually about the Avalanche, then we'll get into the matchup itself. At this moment, there are only 4 games left to be played in total in the Central Division. Now, one of those games is taking place between the Arizona Coyotes and the Chicago Blackhawks. So that eliminates half of them. And the other game taking place in the Central Division between the Nashville Predators and the Colorado Avalanche. That is the only game that matters at this point in the season. Now, why does it matter? Because at this exact moment, the Dallas Stars completed their season, 82 games skated now, 108 points. The Colorado Avalanche have skated 81 games. Of course, this game against the Preds will be their final game of the season. They have 107 points. So that means a victory over the Preds by the Colorado Avalanche will give the Colorado Avalanche the Central Division title for the second year in a row. Of course, they are the defending Stanley Cup champions. So this game has big-time implications that will set the playoff matchup and also determine the division winner when it comes to the Central Division. So right now, I cannot tell you who the 2-3 matchup is going to be, nor who the division winner is going to be moving forward. So we have Dallas finishing in first place with 108 points, Colorado with one game to go at 107. The Minnesota Wild have locked in the 3 spot. Their season is complete with 103 points. The Winnipeg Jets, their season is complete. They've locked in the number 4 spot and the second wild card spot with 95 points, and then the Nashville Predators with 92. The St. Louis Blues finished their season with 81 points. Arizona, Chicago still playing one more game, 69 points and 58 points respectively. Now, the Colorado Avalanche, they have a record overall of 50, 24, and 7, 107 points on the road, which is where their next game will take place. They'll wrap up the regular season at Bridgestone Arena. A record of 28, 11, and 1, 276 goals for, 223 goals against. That's a goal differential of plus 53. Impressive right there. For the Nashville Predators, no games remaining on the schedule. The season series between these two teams goes back to November the 10th when the Nashville Predators were in Colorado for the first time, and they fell 5-3. Lankinen got the start. 30 out of 35 took the loss. It was Josi, Tolvanen, and Johansson with a goal each in that game. None of them are available for this final game of the season. Georgiev got the victory, 32 out of 35, and it was Rantanen, 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points. Now, the 25th of November is when the two teams should have played at Bridgestone Arena for the first time this season, but that game had to be canceled and postponed due to the broken water main outside of Bridgestone Arena there along 5th Avenue. So that game was canceled, rescheduled, and that is the game that we are previewing right now. They would meet on December the 17th in Colorado one final time. It would be the Colorado Avalanche securing a 3-1 victory over the Nashville Predators. UC Stars would take the loss 27 out of 29. Georgiev got the victory 25 out of 26. Matt Duchene scored the only goal for the Nashville Predators. Makar had 2 points in that game, and Rantanen scored yet again against the Nashville Predators. They would meet on December the 23rd when the Nashville Predators would fall at Bridgestone Arena 3-2 in overtime. UC Stars would take the loss 43 out of 46. Johansson and Duchene would score a goal each. Georgiev in that game would pick up the victory 37 out of 39, and Mikko Rantanen 1 goal, 1 assist for 2 points. So Georgiev and Rantanen have absolutely tortured the Nashville Predators this season. The Colorado Avalanche have a record of 3-0 against the Preds and have outscored the Nashville Predators 11-6. Now, the first and second place matchup, the Dallas Stars, Colorado Avalanche, and 1 point separating. Well, the Nashville Predators are are largely responsible for these teams getting there. The Nashville Predators right now are 0-7 against the two teams combined, and will determine who ends up being the division winner, and this will happen very quickly tomorrow night. Now, let's talk about how the Colorado Avalanche ended up with a chance to win the division on the last day of the season. They have really been on a surge, picking up a lot of points as of late. Let's go back and talk about their most recent stretch of action, their last 5 games. It was on April the 6th, a 6-2 win at the San Jose Sharks. On the 8th of April, a 4-3 win at the LA Kings. On the 9th of April, a 5-4 overtime win at Anaheim. Then returning home on the 11th for a 2-1 overtime loss versus Edmonton, but still picking up a pivotal point right there. And on the 13th, it was a 4-2 win versus the Winnipeg Jets. Georgiev got the start in the victory, 18 out of 20, and that's exactly why right now the Colorado Avalanche, who started off the season with a bit of a Stanley Cup hangover, as teams typically do when they have such a run like the Avs did last year. The Avs slowly climbed out of 6th place right up into the top 4 and then into the top 3, and now have a chance to take over the top spot, where Dallas has largely been in the number 1 spot this entire season. So the Colorado Avalanche find themselves surging at just the right time. The defending champs could be the Central Division champs after tomorrow night, setting themselves up with a very good matchup against the Seattle Kraken in the first round of the playoffs. Now, when it comes to the NHL ranks between these two teams, of course, we have a massive sample size right now. We have 81 games to talk about. So goals for category 3.33 for the Colorado Avalanche, that's 11th best in the league. The Nashville Predators, 2.72 goals for, is 28th in the NHL. When it comes to goals against, the Preds are 12th best in the league, 2.86, while the Colorado Avalanche are 10th in the league, 2.73 goals against per game. Shots for, Nashville, 23rd overall in the NHL, 29.6 on net per game. And the Avalanche, 33.4 per game. That is 8th best in the league. When it comes to the shots against category, the Preds have given up tons of shots all season long, 33.3. No surprise to find them down around 27th in the NHL. Shots against, though, for Colorado, 31.2, 17th. Has them right there in the middle of the pack. In the special teams, this is where you're going to find actually some separation, and it's going to be kind of a strange fraction right here. When it comes to the power play, 27th rated power play for the Nashville Predators, 17.3%. I'm really looking forward to putting the Nashville Predators power play away after the next game for the season. 48 out of 248 opportunities on the season. When it comes to the Colorado Avalanche power play, 24.8%. Very good percentage. 6th overall in the league. 63 out of 254 opportunities. Now, on the penalty kill, flip it, invert it the other way around. It's Nashville Predators with a superior unit right here. 82.3% kill rate on the penalty kill. They have moved up to 8th best in the NHL. That's the best they have been. They have been surging since the All-Star break. This young core has absolutely done the work on the PK. 48 power play goals against on the season. On the other side of things, the Avs have a 79% kill rate, 17th best in the league, 51 power play goals against. Let's talk about the individual stats for each of these teams. When it comes to the Colorado Avalanche, it seems like Nathan MacKinnon rarely gets talked about at all when it comes to some of the other players that are in the Western Conference. Of course, those guys that play in Edmonton. MacKinnon, 39 goals, 68 assists, 107 points on the season. Just another great season. Rantanen has tortured the Nashville Predators this year. He scored in every single game against the Preds this season. 54 goals, 48 assists, 102 points. Cale Makar also always plays really spectacular hockey against the Nashville Predators. 17 and 49 for 66. Compher, 17 and 35 for 52. He finds a way to sneak on the score sheet pretty often against the Preds. And Lehkonen, 20 and 29 for 49 overall. In net, Georgiev, 38, 16, and 6, and 919 save percentage, 2.53 goals against average. He has turned into be a really, really good starter at the NHL level. Yossi for the Nashville Predators is leading the team in scoring and will finish the season leading the team in scoring. 18 goals, 41 assists, 59 points. The Nashville Predators will not have a 60-point player this season. Matt Duchene, 22 goals and 34 assists for 56 points. Philip Forsberg, 19 goals and 23 assists for 42 points. And then Tommy Novak, your active leading scorer, now tied for 3rd overall on the team. 17 goals, 25 assists for 42 points. Glass at 14 and 21 for 35. In net, updated stats on UC Saros, 33, 23, and 7, 919 save percentage, 2.69 goals against average. Lankinen should get the final start of the season, with the game essentially being meaningless for the Nashville Predators. 9-7-1 is his record, 9.18 save percentage, 2.67 goals against average, and he's proven to be a perfectly competent, capable backup. He has an opportunity to go for his 10th victory of the season. I think that's an important number for him to get to, and I think that John Hines and the coaching staff should give him the opportunity to play in front of the home crowd one last time this season. UC Saros truly has been a workhorse, as you would expect, and I would anticipate he's going to be a Vezina finalist. 9.19 save percentage, 33 victories on the season, 2.69 goals against, and all of the other advanced statistics and analytics that Chris Mason, frankly, has done the best job of anybody of making the case. So if you haven't heard him talking about it on the broadcast or seen all of the graphics on the broadcast, check out Chris Mason on social media. Of course, the Nashville Predators color analyst and former Nashville Predators goaltender three different times. I love Chris Mason. Great guy. That's got you all set up for the Nashville Predators and Colorado Avalanche. It's the final game of the regular season. It's the fan appreciation night. Shirts off their backs. It's always bittersweet. We grind it out and we work real hard to get to this point in the season. And usually what keeps you going, keeps you driving, keeps the energy going is the playoffs that are coming up in just a couple of days. So it's a little bit strange for covering the Nashville Predators to not be talking about playoffs coming up. But of course, we will be moving on with our coverage and following most of these young prospects back to the AHL, back to Milwaukee, and we will be chronicling the Milwaukee Admirals' run at a Calder Cup this year. We don't even know what to call the group going back down. They're not black aces as you would traditionally have, where they would come up from the AHL to the NHL level at the playoff time of year. They are something far, far better, and the Milwaukee Admirals and the Chicago Wolves are going to have one hell of a playoff series when they find themselves on a collision course over there in the Western Conference bracket. All right, it's got you all set up. We got to get to the Rebirth Sports full game recap. Nashville Predators are hosting the Minnesota Wild, closing out the season for the Wild. Nashville Predators' first night of back-to-backs. Let's get to it right after these quick messages right here on the Renegades of Puck Podcast.
Hockey players are as unique as the game itself, and your uniform should be tailored to fit you. Rebirth Sports is your sports apparel tailor. From shells, bags, warm-ups, hats, hoodies, branding, and more, let Rebirth Sports be your custom hockey tailor.
And don't forget to tell them they do more than just hockey.
Rebirth Sports on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Rebirth Sport, a match made in hockey.